Oh, good morning, everyone. Sorry, we was a little slow this morning. Good morning. Thank you for watching Relationship Matters Ministries Forum again. Today we will be discussing a topic on marriage. I wanted to first off thank everyone who attended the last forum. It was a great success, huge success. And I am so honored and so humbled that so many people attended, had their questions, and we were able to touch many lives. So again, my name is author Lardina Coles. This is my husband, Stefan Coles. He will be joining me once again today as we discuss the topic of marriage. And my sister is here, Lardita. She will be the host. She's just going to help, just get things together. So again, I am author Lardina Coles. This is my first book, Relationship Matters. The book is only $10.99. Purchase this book. It's an awesome book. You can also follow me at Relationship Matters on Facebook, Relationship Matters 17 on Instagram. We're on Twitter at Relationship Matters, Google Plus at Relationship Matters. So we're all over social media. If you have any questions, concerns, if you even just want to bless, please feel free to give me your testimonies or anything of how we have blessed you or just anything. Just keep us informed, keep us encouraged. So I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in. We did miss last month. It was a very trying time in our family. We did lose our baby sister. Thank you for your prayers. We are still in the process of grieving. So please just keep us in prayer as we move forward and try to figure out what is our new normal. So let's get this started because I don't want to start crying. So again, you can purchase a copy of my book at relationshipmattersministries.com. The book is only $10.99, and you can also purchase it on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com. And you can also get a tangible copy of my book at CLC Bookstores in Morristown, New Jersey. And we have so many other things that's coming up this year, and I'm very excited for what God is doing. So let's get started.
Good morning. So again, I'm just here to kind of guide them along during the forum. Please, the live forum is there. We are connected. If you have any questions, please comment in the live feed. We'll definitely get to them. Also, too, if you have a question that you feel that you cannot share publicly, please inbox, and I will definitely keep your name anonymous when we're addressing it. But this definitely is a forum that is no hold bars. We're going to address, or they're going to address, every single thing or try about marriage. So your questions, even if you're not even married yet, questions are welcome. Even if you are don't even have a mate, but inspired to be married. So that is definitely, we want to hear your feedback, because we're just firm believers that you should prepare for marriage before you enter marriage. So this is your preparation time as a single person, and then your wholeness being a single. So definitely chime in and comment on that. But we have Lardina Coles, which is the author of Relationship Matters. She gave you all her handles, and we'll keep plugging that in during the course of the forum for the next 2 hours. You have them for 2 hours, so we hope that you stay quite some time. And then also we have her husband. I want to say her better half, but then it kind of like doesn't. So her equal half, Stefan Coles. Just give you a quick backdrop. She's an author. Stefan is a DJ and also works full time as well. So just give a little bit. So we want to actually start, and I'm ready for the juicy. I'm ready to get in. So we want to start too, and also as well, we understand that this is spiritual based, but we welcome all questions, right. And we're definitely going to address the spiritual aspect of marriage, and also address the natural, because they both are important. So what I want to first start with them is I want them to give you a backdrop of their marriage. So let's start with Steph, because we always ask the woman, and with the woman it's like tulips and in the garden, and the guys have a tendency to be a little bit more what's the word,
Raw
about how they met and how long they've been married and the course. And then we're just going to start basically addressing everything within marriage. So we'll start with Stefan, and start with how'd you meet?
Oh, well, how we met, I was teaching Sunday school at a church, and it's funny because at the time I was dating somebody else. I wasn't, I was living life, dating and doing what I was doing. I was in my element teaching Sunday school, and then I didn't even notice when she walked in because I was in my element. I was teaching, so that's how we met. Because after church was over, this is, I think my pastor at the time introduces this is such and such. And so, all right, cool. We really didn't get to really formally know each other until we was doing the black thing, selling dinners, right? We were selling dinners, and my pastor at the time partnered us up together, to make deliveries, and that's how we met, and that's when we really started to get to talk and laugh, and she got to see who I was, and I got to see who she was, and that's really how we met, because the first time, like I said, I was teaching Sunday school, but that's how we met, and then I think things transpired, things happened. 6 months later, we were married.
So that's what we said. You guys are so raw. So we would like more details, because you even mentioned when you originally met Dina, you had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
So you were in a relationship. Mm-hmm. So from the time that you guys met, 6 months later you're married. So fill that in. We definitely want to know, because to be very honest with you, sometimes that happens. You meet your soulmate, but you're already attached.
Yeah.
So how do you detach to get reattached to move forward? So
okay. It was this was a while ago.
How long have you guys been married? So let's date you.
It would be 13 years in November.
Yeah, 13 years.
13 years.
So,
talking about over 13 years ago. They asked me to remember stuff from 13 years ago. But
I remember.
Of course you remember. What was going on? All right, so like I said, I was dating somebody else, and I think I had been with her at least a year or two, maybe. So and I thought it was serious. At least I thought it was. So me being, I was young in ministry, and I wasn't all the way saved just yet. You know what I mean? Because some people be acting like they was all the way saved, they had it all the way together. I was young in ministry, so I was doing my thing, and I wasn't living all the way right. So let's just put that out there now. So let's just kill all of that right now. I wasn't living all the way right, so I was out there doing me, and y'all know exactly what I'm saying when I say I was doing me. But yet I was still teaching Bible school and Bible studies and all that, So God still got the glory, but I just wasn't living right. But we was out. And after we had made our deliveries and doing things, we had really had a connection. And I don't know if I asked her out on a date or anything, or it just so happened to happen.
So wait, before you get that, somebody has a question.
Already.
If you move past that, then we will have to definitely backtrack. So someone wants to know, Nicole, that's online. Hey,
hi, Nicole. Thanks for tuning in.
She wants to know, was the ex a part of the church too? Like, how did that work?
No, she wasn't part of the church.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. So continue.
Yeah. So she wasn't a part of the church, but
she was a regular visitor. However,
was she visiting because she was dating you?
She was visiting. Okay. To support him in his ministry and different other things. So so we had seen each other, me and her, quite a few times.
Yeah. So you knew the ex. You knew that was not even the ex. You knew.
I knew at the time that she was the girlfriend. Yes,
okay.
I knew that.
Okay. Go ahead. Continue.
Yeah. So after the deliveries, I don't know. I really can't. I really don't remember how the events all transpired. She would probably be able to tell you and fill you in on how everything happened. But I know we had a couple of dates. We went to Penn's Landing a couple of times, and there was some other stuff that happened. And then, like I said, next thing you know, I was I was some things that happened between me and the ex, and we just cut it off, and you know, I think I got dumped. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't. You might have got dumped, but as I remember, when we went to Penn's Landing, I think Penn's Landing, that date is when we knew without a shadow of a doubt there was chemistry. There was definitely heart-to-heart connection. And he went to lean over and kiss me, and then that's when I was like, you need to handle, you know, like I said, and I was coming from a place where I was already hurt, and I said, and I remember distinctly telling him, I don't want to be that one to hurt like I've been hurt. So I told him to make it right, and I gave him 2 days. Well, I don't think I gave him 2 days. It took him 2 days, and in the midst of those 2 days, I was like, like I was so nervous and different other things. But within those 2 days, it was confirmed to me, you know, during my prayer time that he was it. But I just didn't understand. This is where you have to understand how God does stuff, because I was like, he was already taken. Like, and this chick had feelings for him. She wanted to marry him, you know. So she had to actually love him. But then here I come, the true, you know, connection, the true person that God had for him stepped in the picture, and then stuff had to, you know. And everybody knows me. I don't. You know, you have to do stuff the right way, or at least try to. And, you know, when we went to Penn's Landing and I felt it getting deep, and he was getting deep, and he went to kiss me, and I was like, I can't do this. And he made it right. You know, he came back 2 days later, and he said, well, I don't know if he was dumped. I don't know the details of that. I just was happy because he chose me, you know. And then he got real deep. It was like, I know you're my wife, and yada, yada, yada. Let's be together forever.
So with that being said, and I don't want to spend too much time on the ex. Mm-hmm. On the ex, I don't want to spend too much time there. But with so much going on in the world today, as far as infidelity and things of that, cheating, Steph, how did you, if you can remember, because I know it's 14 years almost ago, because you guys, well, maybe 13, because you got married 6 months later. But how do you try to, and I know that you were definitely at a different spiritual place in your life there, and we're always constantly growing, so no judgment at all. But how do you handle, or how can you say how you can handle when you're in a relationship? First, let's ask, because a lot of people don't. I'm probably one of those that don't truly believe in ordained marriages. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you before we move forward, is that a belief amongst you? Do you believe that from birth, before you was formed in your mother's womb, God had somebody specially picked out for you? And somehow, some way, you guys will cross paths, and it'll be this cosmic experience, and you guys know. Or do you believe that? No, just answer that one first.
All right, I'll take the lead on this one.
Okay.
The Bible calls Jesus the God, the Alpha and the Omega, which means he's the beginning and the end. But we also tend to forget that he's everything in between. Mm-hmm. So, and the Bible also says before, you know, when God was talking to Jeremiah, before you were in your mother's womb, I knew you, I formed you. So I do believe that there is somebody that God has for you, picked out specifically for you, because there's only one person that can match your gifts and talents that God put in you, and that can maximize it. So yes, I do believe in that. Like I said, he's everything. So that means he's already walked out your life in every stage. God already walked it all the way out. He knows it. Yes, he walked it all the way out. He knows it. And there is a specific place where he says, okay, this is where you're going to get married, or this is where I'm going to put the person in your life that I have for you. So, you know, without going all deep and wonderful, yes, I do believe in that. And that is the reason why.
Yes.
Right. And
I agree. Yep, I agree. I believe that God ordains the marriages. He sets out who is perfect for you. Like, that's just it. I mean, he sets out who it is, and as much as we want to puts our standards in there, and sometimes we have to expand our boundaries in who or what type of person we're looking for. God always knows who we need. And like I said, my husband, when I met him, he was not my type. He was not my type at all. But he quickened my spirit. I was attracted. If you have to have a physical attraction, because everybody believes in physical attraction, it was in his smile. But I was thoroughly attracted to his personality. He had a humble, very sweet spirit. He had a very gentle touch. That was what attracted me to him. And then everything else just came, together. So, I wouldn't trade him for the world. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't trade him. There's nobody in this world, I don't care how fine you are, that can give me what I was searching for as far as my heart and my soul and my spirit. And I tell him this all the time. He doesn't have to worry about me, because I truly believe in my heart there's nobody else for me. And then, we've been through too much. Like, he knows me in and out. So, no, I do believe. And I say all this in my book. I really do. Because, marriages work when you identify the positive aspects in the other individual.
Yeah.
It works, and that's why our marriage works, because I'm constantly being reminded of the gift that he is to me. Like, nobody else. Like, I've had different guys and I've had different engagements, and nobody has even reached the depth of my spirit, of my soul, or even touched it in an intimate way than what he has. And I don't think nobody ever will, other than God.
That's so awesome. So when you're saying that, did you know right away?
Yes, I knew right away.
Tell a story.
So I see there's a story.
Y'all heard my part. Y'all heard what I was doing.
So obviously there's a story.
There's a story.
Okay,
So,
go ahead.
First of all, I'm gonna give you the backdrop. When I met him, I was at probably one of the lowest stage of my life. 2 weeks prior, I tried to commit suicide, and God saved me. I was really low. I was really done with life. But it was God. It was truly God. So God just really worked out different situations in my life to where I ended up at this church. And I came through the door with the mindset of, God, I need you. I need change. I need change. I need help. Send me help. So I walked in this building, and immediately when I opened the door and I saw him up there teaching, and now he says this all the time, that I'm crazy. I assure you I'm not crazy. I walked in and I saw his smile, and I was captivated by the smile. I said, oh, he has a very nice smile. I can't with you. And then instantly my spirit, I'm not crazy. My spirit, it was almost like it left my body, and his spirit left his, and it just connected. And I didn't understand the feeling. Like, it just was like, bloop. And I was like, wow. And it was just like, okay. I know now that he was for me, but before I just was like, okay, whatever that was. And after that, I was just captivated by him spiritually, and and then as our friendship progressed, and he just treated me so kind.
Progressed fast because you got married in 6 months.
But it just flowed so naturally. Like, everything, it was just flowing to where I did get scared, but I didn't have time to dwell in fear because it was just moving so naturally. And then God just kept confirming. And who this dude was to me. And I'm like, wow. And then when he asked, and it was October 18th when you asked, and I said, I do. And then November 13th, we got married.
I remember the day we got married. I don't remember when I asked, but as long as I remember the anniversary. Fellas, always remember the anniversary date.
Right. He told me he loved me. We met May 15th. August 18th, on my birthday, he told me he loved me. October 18th, he proposed. November 13th, we were married.
Just a couple comments. But Tasha Harris says, y'all better preach.
Hi, Tasha. How are you?
And then we have Nicole Tillman saying, yes. Yes. The gift that you are to each other. I love that. And then we have a Kyrie Jackson say, I'm sorry.
That's Elder Light Skin.
He says, if you have to say you're not crazy, you're normally crazy.
Whatever, boo.
That's Elder Light Skin.
I heard it for 13 years. Don't matter.
So that's so phenomenal, and again, because you two are a man and woman,
Mm-hmm.
so your experience of how you met definitely differs
Mm-hmm.
from how, because she had an outer body. You're never gonna live that down.
No.
She had an outer body experience, and you were actually attached
Yeah.
and had to be detached
Yeah.
to become attached because you felt. So when did you know she was the one? Because you were attached when y'all first met. So when did you know that I will forsake everyone for Lardina and she will bear my last name? When did that happen for you? Because that kind of happened for her almost instantly.
Mm-hmm.
But when did that happen for you? Because I understand men sometimes. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go.
I mean, all right. So I had to first let go of what the old girlfriend, and then I had to kind of like reevaluate, and then really hone down and be like, all right, let's see what this is really gonna be. And then I think had to be probably at Penn's Landing when we went to Penn's Landing. I think that was it that night. Excuse me, that night. And then as it progressed, it was like, oh yeah, this is it. Yeah.
So we understand when it comes to men, and I don't want to say verse women because I don't want to make it a battle because we're supposed to cooperate and get along.
Right.
But when it comes to comparison to men, comparison to women, we as women are hearers. We need the words, and men are sight. So for you to say, at Penn's Landing, so a couple times went past before. So what it was actually when you laid eyes on her, were you attracted to her from the beginning, or it was something that had to grow through conversation? Because sometimes I know when you first meet somebody, you have to have a conversation before you actually have the attraction. So when did what was one, because she said it was your smile. What was her attribute, or even if it wasn't physical, what was it?
I think it was when we were making deliveries in the van that day. I think that's when I kind of noticed, like, she's a nice looking woman. And
you said that.
In my head,
It knows exactly.
yeah, in my head, I said, yeah, she's a nice looking woman. I mean, like I said, I knew I wasn't all the way sitting there, but I wasn't like,
raunchy.
Yeah,
Okay.
raunchy. Like,
And I'm not
I'm a dick with that.
I'm not exactly ugly.
Yeah. So I think it was that day, when I, started to take in her attributes, like I said, because like I said, when she said I wasn't her preference, she wasn't my preference either. So, you know what I mean? So this definitely had to be a God ordained thing where we both had to look beyond physical attributes and see like, oh, all right, this is more than just a physical, oh yeah, she got a big butt or this, that, and the third. And yeah, I'm gonna be raw, I'm gonna be real. Because that's just who I am, and that's my wife. She know who I am.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, I'm gonna give it to y'all straight. I'm saved, minister, and all that, but real conversation draws people. So this is real conversation. So it wasn't like she had a big butt or all this other stuff that us as men look at. It was like her smile was something that caught me too. So it was like that day in the van when we were making deliveries, that was like the day where I actually got to take in all of it. And then that at Penn's Landing that night, I guess it was just the way the night was set up. It was a nice breeze.
Yeah.
And, the moon was glowing. Nice.
Now he's having the.
It was
The
like
metaphysical experience.
and it was a summer night, and it felt like cool and,
it was really
and
nice.
springy. It was
Yeah.
really nice. Like God really, that was
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Because she had asked for my jacket that night, and
Yeah, 'cause
because we were sitting by the water, And you know, I don't know if it was when she put the jacket on and like it was kind of like the way the light hit her, and it was like, oh snap, oh all right, yeah,
Oh my God.
she a whole John, like, yeah.
She no longer delivering them trays.
Yeah.
So we have a comment from Mr. Kyrie Jackson. He says, like my brother, he's referring to you,
Yeah.
Stefan. He said, I saw my wife's hand in marriage about 4 to 5 months into our relationship, and we got married 11 months after we met. So that's fast too, because we once lived in a time where it took 18 months to prepare for a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You had to at least be with somebody for 2 years or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then once the marriage happens, and then it takes 18 months to actually get married.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys got married in 6 months. Kyrie Jackson got married in 11 months. That's fast track. So if anybody's online looking and you can beat 6 months, let us know, because that's so, because you have to be sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand some people are just spontaneous, let's go ahead and do it, but you guys did it in 6 months and you're making it work.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people that gets into it quickly and they fall out of it quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the key things is getting married. You want to stay married.
Yes.
And if so happen, and we're not condemning divorce because it happens,
Mm-hmm.
and you know it's real, it happens, and sometimes it just don't work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, you're going to hell or whatever because you divorced or in the process of getting one.
Mm-hmm.
But Nicole mentioned, she said when it's God, it doesn't take long. So, but what happens when it's long and it's God? Then what? Is it not God?
I believe if it's lengthy, I think it has to do with a lot of the couple. It has a lot to do with the couple.
Okay.
A lot of times we really resist a lot of stuff, and I think a lot of times we are so focused on the perfection of the marriage that we forget that we're not perfect. We forget that there's flaws that we have to work out. I think we just have this mindset, this persona that everything is supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to be the perfect timing, the perfect lighting, the perfect this, the perfect that, and nothing's perfect because when I met him, he had a job. When we got married, he got laid off. So nothing was perfect about our situation, but we knew that this was what we wanted. And I think a lot of times we get confused with materialistic stuff. We get confused with having a fairy tale wedding, and then we turn around and we think we're going to have a fairy tale marriage, but that's the reality is we need to focus on building a proper and strong foundation for the marriage. You do the fairy tales with the wedding, and then the fairy tales is no longer in existence when it comes to the marriage because you have to actually build with this person. And building takes time. And it takes time, it takes patience, it takes love, it takes understanding, it takes sacrifice, it takes compromise. And nobody wants to do that anymore. Nobody wants to be patient. Nobody wants to say, you know, everybody expect Rome to be built overnight. And Rome, it took many years for it to be built and to be an empire the way it was. It takes years. You know, and it took us 13 years. We're better than what we were 13 years ago, but we're still building. We're still understanding. We're still compromising. We're still sacrificing. We're still being honest with each other. We're still loving each other. We're still being understanding. It still has to take place. And I just think a lot of marriages fail because nobody wants to be patient. Nobody wants to be willing to work out what it is that needs to be worked out. It's okay, well, it didn't go my way, I'm out.
Yeah. Before we press forward on that, because I want to definitely stay there with challenges, Kyrie said he also had a preference that his wife was not.
Mm-hmm.
So So what I'm getting out of this, and I am a single woman. I am within a relationship, but I'm single in the aspect of marriage. Sometimes I think we look for that, and I might be dating myself, the dime piece, or the guy with the just be quiet with all the swag and put together. But sometimes we gotta look outside the box for our mate to be perfect, and that's what I'm pulling from the both of you guys. That y'all took that millisecond of your life and looked outside of the box, because I'm pretty sure you both dated people that were your type, actually your type, and as you can see, y'all sitting on the couch together. So obviously, it did not work. You know, and then we have Mike Keebler. He's online. He said,
Hi, Mike, how are you?
That's the Mike.
Blessed, and he said Lisa and I, Lisa, which is his wife, he said we dated for a year and was engaged for 2 months and then married in November of 2001. So they've been married for and they only dated a year, and then 2 months and you just get married. So it's just like, wow, like how do you
get out, please?
How do you even sit there 2 months? And so in a total of 14 months, you meet someone. And Mike, if you could give a little bit more detail in the chat, were you guys friends first and then decided to date, or you just met and then just went into the relationship? So if you can chime in with details, that would be great. And then Mike also says love, patience, and understanding. Teach Dina. So let's stay there when y'all ended about the challenges, because we as little girls, and we're going to go back to childhood, we were always taught that our kin, because I'm Barbie, our kin is going to come in, sweep us off our feet, have all this money, he's going to provide, he has a job, I'm going to stay home and get my little workout tapes and get in shape after I have all these kids, you know, and I'm gonna cook dinner, and that's what, because we grew up in the 80s, the 70s and the 80s, and that's what they taught us. It's just recently now they teach women to be independent, but I think we're too independent because we're so much, we push our mate away. But how did you face your challenges? Because you're my sister, so I know what our mother instilled in us, and she did an amazing job to prepare us to be wives as we were growing up. So how do you go from saying I do to saying you fired, and then now you begin the marriage, and your family is blended because you already had children. How do you go from even, and I want to hear from Dina and then Stefan from his perspective, how do you go from I'm marrying this girl to provide for her, and now I can't provide financially, because I'm a firm believer that providing doesn't necessarily mean monetary.
Right.
Providing can be a whole slew of things. So explain how he come home and babe, I'm laid off. And y'all just got married. So how did you face that financial challenge? Because a lot of marriages, from my perspective, fail, or there's a lot of issues over money. And I know one of the things that I never want to, once I get to a place of marriage, I never really want to argue over money. I don't want money to be an argument. So you guys, 13 years, you made it work, and definitely, oh wow. Nicole's parents were engaged after 1 month and married a year later.
Yeah.
Next month will be 38 years of marriage. If we could get them online, get the Tillmans. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, describe how you first got married and faced a financial challenge. That's a financial challenge. Faced a financial challenge as soon as you said I did. So go ahead and.
I think we both were a little scared.
Yeah.
We were scared. We were definitely scared. We had 4 kids. I was working, I think, part-time, and then I ended up getting full-time hours, and then I ended up getting promoted to a supervisor position, but it was in retail. I can't stand retail. But anyway, but that's what I was doing. I was working, and I had to work. I had to work. Point blank period. I had to work. We had to pay the bills. Even though I was working, it was almost like, I don't think we had too much of a discussion because I would get home, because he was already a clean freak, and the house would be clean, and then, remember the chicken with the kid? I had to teach him how to cook, because me working full time and then coming home and having 10 to 4 kids and cook, it was a bit much, so I had to teach him how to cook. And, you know, his first meal was an epic fail. If you talk to our kids, it was like the chicken. Mommy,
Yeah.
I was trying not to laugh, but they were at the dinner table, and Octavia bust out crying because she was scared to eat the chicken because it was scared. She said, "Mommy, the chicken is really, really light." So the kids was at the table like, "Oh my God." But that was the obstacle we had to get over. I had to literally take the time to teach him how to cook because
Wow.
I was working. And after that, he started to get the hang of it, you know. And then he ended up finding a part-time job. So then it was both of us working, you know. And then I had to, you know, we took turns taking the kids to daycare and school and just doing different things. So I think it was just a matter of helping each other out. It's not about, oh, this is a man's job, this is a woman's job. It was just a matter of, we got 4 kids and rent needs to be paid.
Right.
We got to make it work.
Yeah.
And we made it work. I mean, we had so many ups and downs during the process of making it work, but we would not be here where we are today if we didn't have those obstacles and then learn from the lessons. Like, we learned a lot,
Yeah.
you know, during our downtime, you know, to where people, and a lot of people counted us out. They really did.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they told us in our face we wasn't going to make it. And we were determined that we were going to make it. We were going to make it. I mean, we may look like we don't have much now, but we had our hopes and dreams. And we you know, it was a detour a little, you know, because kids detour a lot of your stuff. It's not as focused as you would like it to be. But we, you know, we did it. We did it. And we are still doing it, you know.
And before you comment, Mike, just because we got to backtrack a little bit, then we're going to push forward with Stefan addressing his point of view of the financial issue. Mike says speaking of his wife, we met in summer camp exactly a year after my heart was broken in a prior engagement. Lisa was dating but searching for the right man. We dated a year, knowing we had who we both were looking for. Faced a few relationship challenges. The 9/11 happened and changed our perspective. We knew that we wanted and was in love, so all we had to do was make it official. So even with them, and Mike, please continue to comment, because you're seasoned in your marriage. Even it took a tragedy for them to wake up and say, let's go ahead and just do this, because we do love each other.
Right.
You know, and so unfortunate 9/11 did changed our entire country's perspective of everything. So for that tragedy to happen, you know, it just pushed you into saying, not falling in love, but saying we are in love.
Right.
And what are we waiting for? And then here we are, 18? What's it, 17 years later.
Yeah.
You're still married, which is so phenomenal. So I salute you and your wife, Mike, with just staying together, which is awesome. But let's go back to Stefan with the challenge of the marriage financially.
Yeah, I was working for Chapman Ford at the time, and what happened was I lost my job because my license got suspended because I was being irresponsible, being young, not paying tickets and stuff like that. So my license got suspended, and then you know, I had lost my job, so it was like I was scared too. I was like I said, I was young. I was 24.
Yeah.
24, you know, like I said, I'm really just beginning life, you know, so I was scared, but, you know, like my wife said, we made it work. It was a challenge because, coming from not having kids to having 4 is like, I can't think about me no more. It's like, it's not about me. It's about feeding my wife and my 4 kids. So it was like, I had to compensate. I couldn't cook, as my wife so beautifully illustrated. And I do remember that day, my feelings was like, just a sidebar, my feelings was hurt because I had, that meal to me was everything because it was, I put my heart and soul into some raw chicken. And they didn't like it. So my feelings was hurt. I still don't like my kids to this day. But no, so like I said, I had the cleaning part down pat, but then my wife really had to take some time to really teach me how to properly fry chicken. And like I said, because she was working, I knew my part. It was like, all right, if she gotta go work, let me clean, let me do something, let me watch the kids, help with homework. You know what I mean, playing with the kids and just keeping them entertained while mom's at work. By the time she get home, I could try to have a meal together, or at least if she had to come home and cook, at least the kitchen was clean for her to just go right in and cook. So it took me just having to just say, okay, I can't do this, but I can do this.
Right.
So that's the way I made it work, And I was out there grinding, out there hustling, looking for work. So I was, just because I didn't have a job doesn't mean I wasn't out there looking, but I made sure I was home in enough time for, I knew what time she got off, I knew what time she would get in the house. So after I would go out and do my, we was walking out there, I think me and my brother-in-law at the time, we was out there walking, hustling, looking for jobs. Well, and I ain't had no current transportation either, so I'm in South Philly walking all the way down to Delaware Avenue.
Wow.
I mean, in that mall where Lowe's and all that is at, looking for jobs, going filling out applications, walking all the way back home because I'm like, oh snap, they ain't gonna get home at this time, so let me go clean the crib, or let me go get the kids out of school, let me go pick them up. Doing all that. So it's just about knowing, like, okay, maybe you can't do this, but you can do this. So let me do what I'm good at, and then when she told me to cook, then I had the whole package now. Now I knew how to cook. You know what I mean? Maybe like my 3rd time frying chicken, I think I had got it right. First 2 batches, it was still kind of wrong. Like, you know what I mean?
I just know your fried chicken is blessed. Yes. I can speak about it now.
So, it was just about, doing what I knew I could do then, and then picking up the rest of the attributes and skills a little bit later to try to, make the whole package come together.
So there's a question for you, Steph.
I'm not answering questions.
The question is, Mike is asking, can Steph speak on and it's actually a few questions, so I'll break it down.
Man.
I know, he says, can Steph speak on the anxiety of joining an already made family and the challenges of fitting into their dynamics, and what he has learned the most from them, and what are the blessings of making their family his family? So, and then there's a question for you as well. So let's stick with, and that's really good, and that was one of the
all
points.
Those college words, man. My education level ain't up there, man. You can't ask me all these college words, man.
We definitely want to, let's just give you a backdrop of Stefan. So when he married Dina, he had 0 children. And 24, you said 24?
24.
Wow.
Yeah.
And 0 children and 24.
Yes.
So literally,
It seems like I picked up a family overnight.
You did.
Well, yeah, I wasn't gonna say that, but yeah,
You
you
did.
did.
You did.
So one of his questions is, and wow, these questions is rolling. These questions is rolling. I promise we're gonna get to everybody. Please be patient with me.
We're not answering.
Then we'll answer your questions. So Steph, the anxiety. Did you have anxiety? One, let's ask. Did you have anxiety about an already made family?
Yeah, you know what? I was really young, so I was like still in La La Land a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because I was 24, I was, quote unquote in the prime. I thought I was in my prime. I thought, all right, I'm good, we good. Yeah, that's my family, come on. But then after settling down, I'm like, oh, snap. After I settled down, it was like, oh, okay, I really got a family. I really got to provide. I really got to do this stuff. So the anxiety came not right away, but it came later.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So before, go ahead. I'm sorry, Dean.
I was going to say, I think a lot of our anxiety was the fact, I want to say a lot of anxiety fell in where the finances came in at with the kids, because he was 24 and he wasn't geared toward, okay, he would just take the whole entire check. I would say, here, baby, this is what we made. And I will, in a blink of an eye, all the bills was paid. And I'd be like, yeah, but he never considered food, so we were starving.
I couldn't cook anyway.
He didn't think about food. He didn't think about the kids' needs. He didn't think about like transportation needs. He didn't think about all that. He just said, "Oh, I'm going to pay the bills." Bam! And then I had to say, "No. The next check, this is what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to budget." And I think that was a lot of his anxiety, because he was immediately like, "Wait, I can't pay a bill on time," because he didn't have any attachments. But all of a sudden, he had, you know, all these extra bodies to where now you can't just pay all your bills.
You have to budget.
You have to budget.
You have to go on. And that's so key, because I call it the single mom syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
When and that's exactly one of the questions Mike's is asking. Because you're single and all you have is you.
Mm-hmm.
You pay your bills on time, but then you had to kind of like come out of and fit into her dynamic of having already made family. So speak upon the challenges of, actually, he wants you to speak upon the challenges you had fitting into her dynamics, because being a single mom and having your children, we kind of already have the routine. And not that we're not open, because we're open to change, but some things work better with the children. And being as though that you were coming into without any, so you had to do a rapid father speed lesson, and happy Father's Day to you. How did you fit? What was the challenges of that, to try to fit in her already? And she's a ride out woman. That's challenging. So speak upon that. And I just want to say, everybody, thank you so much. People are rolling in.
Good.
So I'm going to definitely get everybody. But speak about, because I think that's important, the challenges, because we do live in a time now where people are blending families more than not. So speak upon the challenges of stepping in and trying to fit in. You had to fit in.
Yeah,
how did you fit in?
Well, I mean, like I said, we got married so fast, so, you know, we didn't really know each other too much, because we just got married so fast. We knew we was for each other, but we didn't know each other. You know what I mean? It was only 6 months, so in 6 months it was just bliss. Hey, yeah, we love each other. Yeah, woohoo! Yeah, we love each other. Yeah. So, you know, fitting in, it took us some major adjustment. It took major adjustment. Like I said, I had to kind of change my mindset. I had to kind of fit in and do what I needed to do for the purpose of taking on a family. It took a lot. It took a lot of adjusting. It took a lot of mindset changes. It took a lot of I had to sacrifice more now, you know what I mean, because I was just used to taking care of me and doing me. So now I had to think about my wife and the children. So it's man, wow. Like,
I think a lot of our arguments in the beginning, and I'm just going to help you out because I remember.
Yeah.
A lot of our arguments in the beginning was the fact that I felt like he was so doggone selfish.
Wow.
Like, I would literally be ready to just rip his face off, because I just didn't understand, like, some of his thoughts or the way he did stuff. And I'm like, that was one of our arguments. Of course, finances was, you know, but once we got the hang of that, then it was okay. I think with him, his transition was to realize that it just wasn't about him anymore.
Right.
You literally have to think beyond your boundaries of yourself. You know, with everything that you do. Everything, you know. And then there were times that we, you know, I think every mother goes through this with your husband, where you feel like, as far as the wife or the mother's concerned, we always have to figure out what needs to be done before we can actually create something. Like a date night. Like, you're just going to go. Bam, got the movie set. Dude, babysitter,
Yeah.
You know, he didn't think about stuff like that. So it was a lot of times we couldn't do it, or we were stuck bringing the kids with us because we didn't have anybody to watch them. Like, he didn't think about stuff like that. So I think that was a lot of his his problems. And then I remember we had a conversation one day, and he kept telling me, and I think up to what 5-6 years in our marriage, where he kept saying, "Babe, this is still also new to me," and I couldn't comprehend that. Like, dude, we've been in this for 5-6 years now, and you're still saying that. And I think it took up to our 7th year of marriage to where I noticed he never said it again. It was I got this thing, you know. Demetrius do this, Dejon do this, Najee sit down, Tay go play with these Legos. You know, he was finally figuring out. He knew their personalities. He knew what ticked me, you know, because there were a point where he know I can't stand coming into a house, and if you want me to cook, I don't mind cooking. My house gotta be clean.
Right.
To where now, you know, when they were a little bit younger, he'd be like, "I told you mom's gonna have the attitude because y'all ain't come in." Because there were times if it ain't right, you better go in the kitchen and eat a bowl of cereal, then on some news. That's just how it was, because, you know.
So we addressed the challenges and different things from Stefan point of view, and you chimed in too, which was awesome. But they want to now know, Stefan, what are the blessings of making her family your family that's your family? So what are some of the blessings? Because I know that, I don't know too many, but I know some people, women and men, don't want to get involved with people that already have children. But there's a blessing in that. So speak upon your blessing.
The blessing.
Excuse myself 1 second. Go ahead. Speak about the blessing.
The blessing. One of the blessings was. I would just be funny for a minute. One of the blessings was seeing that first tax return.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Because, you know, at tax time, it's just you. And, you know, you only going, you know, working part-time, you're not going to get a couple hundred. But we went from a couple hundred to over a few thousand. It was like...
I remember that. Our first tax return.
I couldn't believe it.
Yo, it was hilarious.
I couldn't believe it.
It was hilarious.
So, I mean, and that's just to speak on the financial piece of it, because, you know, like I said, I was used to bringing in a certain amount. All right. But the blessing was, you know, for me, it was the blessing of being able to impart now, and being able to actually play with the boys on Saturday mornings. Like, they could tell you every Saturday morning, I used to run in their room, wake them up, and we would wrestle for hours. And that was one of the blessings. One of the blessings with the girls was, you know, just being able to watch them and see how they move and trying to get to know them. So I building new relationships with them was one of the blessings. I was always a disciplinarian, so you know, and that's something that my grandmother instilled in me, was discipline. You know what I mean? I got my behind tore. And I think that was one of the things that was missing. Because a man wasn't there, so I came in as a disciplinarian. You know what I mean? So I guess it's not one of the blessings because the kids didn't like that at all. Like, I would tear fire to some behind. But just watching them grow and watching them, you know, knowing that now that my family's extended now. So that was one of the major blessings, knowing that you know, they may not be carrying my name, but they carry my heart and my spirit with them.
That's beautiful.
So that was one of the major blessings, and from them 13 years ago until now, you know, all of us, each one of the kids, we've all had our ups and downs, but now they know and they see. I think one of the blessings to them is my consistency.
Yes.
I have been there, and I remember. I'm gonna share this. I remember one time my oldest son, he was around, I want to say around 12, 13, maybe 14, and one of the things he would do that used to irk my soul, he would just bust in our room in the middle of the night. He would do it, like just doing it, like boom. And he would come and he would look.
Evil little boy.
Yeah, he wasn't evil, but he was curious. And I asked him. I think I asked him one day. I asked him, I was like, yo, I said, Demetrius, why do you bust in the middle right? Why do you always bust in the room? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, stop doing that. Like, you don't know what you could walk into. Like, but the thing, and I remember to this day, the thing that kind of took my heart by surprise. He was like, he said to me, I just want to see if you will still be there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, I just wanted to see if you were still going to be there. So that kind of took me back. And it was like, that was one of the things I knew were, and not to say I was going to leave, but it was like, I can't leave now.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't leave. So the consistency, like I said, they're grown men now, and they come back to me, and you know, me and Demetrius, we have a good relationship, and he'll talk to me, he'd be like, you know what, I respect you because you never left.
Mm-hmm.
And just recently, he told me, he said the only reason he believed in love because he's 22. So, you know, he young, he out there doing him. But he said, you know, the only reason I believe in love is because of you and Mom. You know what I mean? And those are the things that kind of take me by surprise. Like, oh, snap, you really were watching. You were paying attention. Yeah. So, like I said, we've had our ups and downs. But, you know, the blessing is, like I said, my family's extended. And now that they know who I am and they know I'm there for them. And I think that's the biggest blessing. Besides, you know, my wife, you know, the biggest blessing is kids, having those kids.
I just want to, it's Candace McDaniels. Thank you for tuning in.
Hi.
She says, my husband was not my sip of tea either, but here we are 16 years later. So it is true. And I love Black love. My husband and I firmly believe that our plans is not always God plan design. So that's another married person that's seasoned that say that I like her sip of tea wasn't her type, and they've been married for 16 years.
I emphasize this all the time, especially to the single women, and I think you and I had a conversation sometimes to where I said we get so wrapped up into, you know, this is what I exactly need column. He got to be this, but what we actually do is we put God in the box. And then you wondering why you waiting 30, 40, 50 years, or I'm over the age of 30, I'm over the age of 40 and I'm not married yet. Well, it could be, and I'm not saying to lower your standards. I'm not saying none of that because I have standards and they're
Hi. You said hi.
High. I do. I have high expectations. But what I've learned throughout the years is I had to broaden my boundaries when it comes to certain things. I had to realize it's not that deep. It's not that deep. It's completely not that deep. And then I believe that when the right man does come in, he will fit a lot of your wants as well as majority of your needs. But we got to stop putting these men and God in a box because they don't come like that. Mine didn't come with a job. Mine came dark skinned. You know, he had good credit. You know, he didn't have his own apartment. He didn't have any of that. And then we get taught over the pulpit, this is what he has to have. Well, life happens.
Wow.
Life happens. Wow. He may have bad credit. He may have a raggedy car. He may be on a bus. You know, but we so set on, you know, my Mr. Perfect was on SEPTA.
My he didn't pay his ticket. But you're absolutely right.
Just dumb decisions. So we get wrapped up into this mindset of having this perfect man, and babies, they don't exist. All single women, he don't exist. He's not perfect. Now, the man that comes to you that loves you, he would adapt and he would change some of his ways simply because his love for you. But he's still going to continue to be him.
Right.
You know, and I think we just get in this mindset to where if he ain't this, he ain't that, well, I'm telling you, you're going to stay lonely and you're going to stay single.
Yeah.
Before go ahead. Yeah, they're pouring in.
Yeah, I know they come. I know they chiming in.
We're under an hour now.
Yeah. I think a lot of the times we have a preference.
Yes.
And that's where we get messed up at, because if it's not what we prefer, then we don't want nothing to do with it. And that's where we miss the blessings of God, because God doesn't give you preference, He gives you what you need.
Thank you.
He gives you what you need. Preference over need will get you caught up every time.
Wow.
So, you know, to all single people, male and female, or men and women, never get out of the mindset of having what you prefer.
Thank you.
Always go with what God has for you. And sometimes, like I said, it's not the greatest package. It's not. But as long as you keep looking for preference, it's going to hurt you. Preference always hurts you.
Wow.
Your preferences hurt you versus what God has for you. My wife already put it like, none of us are perfect. So you know, if that man or woman is willing to go to bat for you, willing to sacrifice, and willing to die for you, that's the one. And that's simply that.
Two things Mike and Kyrie is having. So they said, "Wow, Texas those stats." And then Kyrie said, "My bro hit the lotto."
Look, I'm gonna tell y'all
So,
when we found our first tax return, I lied to you not. He was in the chair, and the man quoted what we was getting back, and Steph literally was like,
Yeah, I was.
"How much?" And the guy looked at him like, "You're not used to this."
Are you
Like,
okay?
yeah, I really thought he was gonna pass out because he was like, "Wow," you know. And then we just took the money and we
Furnished the house.
Yeah, we finished the house, you know. So he was just like, "Oh my god."
So we have another comment from Mike, and he's just saying that this is really good. The next relationship matters at Grace Family Worship Center. So you guys are definitely giving great information about the challenges and even the blessing of marriage. And I think, Dina, you hit a key point, especially on a woman's perspective. We have this fairy tale in mind about him or our kin, and I use kin because kin is the perfect idea that they created dimensions and everything with the man. He had perfect flowing hair.
Yeah, he did.
So,
Yeah.
but for us to play with Ken and Barbie, but then end up with Stan. So it's just
Right.
like, how do we? And I like how you said broaden. How'd you say? Broaden your boundaries. And
Just a little bit.
me and you have conversations all the time because you're married and I'm still single in my 40s. Well, I'm 14, not in my 40s. Let's be clear. And that inspires to be married, one day, but also have a life partner right now. So, wow. So we got Franklin Birch. He says,
"Hi, Frank."
I read A Made Family and was thinking y'all were the mafia. I'm sorry, I'm at work trying to keep up. I know, I think he did. I think Mike said me. Jesus. But amen. Mike also says to trust the process. And Kyrie says time and understanding what a serious pair. He says that you guys are a serious pair. And then we have Elder Terry that's on the line. Hey,
Hi, Elder. How are you?
And Latasha Harris says a lot of times when they come with everything you want they have to be broken for that to be appreciated, vice versa. It is easy to get caught up in the status factor.
Yes.
That's so key, I think, too. And let's take just a couple moments to speak to the people that inspire to be married. The ones that are either not dating because they're waiting for Mr. Right to just come in, that outer body experience. And I kind of believe I'm a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for with my beliefs? More rugged. A little bit more unorthodox with my thinking, and especially when it comes to outer body experience. Like, I didn't have that. I don't have those moments. But I believe that sometimes you have to kiss a few princes to get your king. When I say that, I'm not saying, you
thought.
Right. Don't become a whore or a hoe in the process of. But what I'm saying is sometimes you have to date around.
Yes.
To date to see if this is you're right. But then you have some other people that believe that I'm just gonna be single in singleness, and God won't send him to the door. Speaking on that, because I've seen a meme on Facebook that says You know, you're waiting for Mr. Right, but you never leave the house. What you think you're gonna break in?
Right.
So,
Right.
So and even though it was funny, it was true.
Mhm.
So speak upon to Dina, the women that are waiting, because we are taught as women, and even as black women, that he's just gonna come in and be perfect credit. Look, I don't even know what the perfect credit score is. What is it, 800, 900?
Yeah.
A perfect credit score, no issues, no baby moms.
Mm-hmm.
That's rare.
It's very rare.
Mhm.
So speak to the women, especially the ones that are above 30, because now we're starting to look like it's ticking,
Mm-hmm.
and especially ones without children,
Mm-hmm.
you're ticking. So speak to the ones that desire and inspire to be married, but yet not have that significant other.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, you gotta really just broaden your boundaries, just a tad. I'm not saying lower your standards. I'm saying be open and honest with what you can have, what you would tolerate, as far as your life and you is concerned. Now, my husband, like I told y'all before, he didn't come with a glamorous job. He had the job in the beginning, and then boom, he didn't have a job. But what caught me with him was, it wasn't his status quo, because I had that before. I had the dude to make the 6-figure, but he was a cheater. I had the dude that was the dreamer, but he was lazy and a beater. So you see what I'm saying? I had all that. But I finally found him. He didn't come with none of that. And I think his first act of kindness that caught me was, and I'm going to be very honest, my lights were about to be shut off. I was struggling as a single mom. My lights was about to be shut off. He had just lost his job. And I remember distinctly, we weren't like dating, we weren't all that, but he was a very good friend to me. And he gave me his check.
Wow.
And he said, pay the electric bill for the, to keep the lights on for the kids. He had me. After that, he didn't judge. He had me. But again, he didn't have all the status quo. He had the heart to where you and the kids can't sit in the dark, and I'm over here in my little, so-called apartment eating noodles. But that's what caught me. So to the single women, I want to say, don't compromise on the attributes as far as the love, the sensitivity, whatever you may need. But as far as the preferences with the looks, the cars, the materialistic stuff, let's be a little more realistic. We're in 2018. Majority of the men either have kids or don't want kids if they do got them. They may be. It's just so much, because you might have the man with no kids, the 6 figures, but is it really worth you dating him if he doesn't make the time for you? If all he's focused on is his job, and I understand men are driven by their job, and I get that. Provide for me, but I also need your time and attention. So for the single women, I just want to say, stay encouraged. Your preferences will get you in trouble every single time, and be open and honest to what God wants to give you. Be open and honest to what you want to be able to handle and deal with.
Right.
Because he's not perfect. He's come a very long way. He's not perfect. Like, he had anger problems.
Let's be clear, anger, but he never hit me.
No, he didn't hit me. No. He had anger problems.
Let's be clear.
But
because sometimes women get caught up in, he just touch this for a minute, because you've been in abusive relationships. If he slaps you, go.
Right.
Bottom line.
Right.
But if there's an anger issue there and he's not harming you, then you worked with him.
Yeah.
But the moment, because it doesn't get better.
No.
He
has never put his hands on me, because first of all,
I just wanted to be clear.
I'm about that life. I'm about that life.
That's right.
And he knows. And he respects me enough not to do that. He's a man. He would rather walk away and tear down a whole oak tree than to put his hands on me.
Mhm.
That's just how he is. He'd rather walk in, I mean, he will slam the door in my entire face. And I'm like, your mom. But he won't put his hands on me. So, you know, we worked through that. And we didn't work it by ourselves. We always had another stronger couple.
Yeah.
We always had somebody we looked up to that we strived to not be them, but we strived to get there, to where they were going.
Right.
We always had that support system. And then we always had that honesty.
Right.
We were never hide behind our problems. We never did. Like, you know, we were very open and honest with, you know, our mentors. And they helped us. They really did help us. And then there were times where I said, and to this day, if we have a problem or we face something where I feel like we can't overcome, I'm quick, fast, in a hurry. I'm like, well, you want to get counseling, Dave? I'm like that. Like, anything to help make my marriage work. Because if we can't see the eye to eye, we can't reach the goal. You know, we can't get there. So it's just.
But before Steph comments, we're halfway through. So just show the book and give your handles to your. We're a little bit more halfway through.
So
your book is Relationship Matters.
This is my book, Relationship Matters. I know we're talking about a segment of marriage. This book is about all relationships. So Relationship Matters Ministries, we deal with all types of relationships just to help build families, friends, and communities. You have to have a good, solid relationship with people in order to be successful in life. But this book is Relationship Matters, Overcoming the Want to Be Alone After Hurt. This specifically dealt with my testimony of coming from where I didn't want to have a relationship, where I didn't want to be bothered, but yet and still, deep down inside, I knew I was not meant to be alone. I knew God had more for me. So this book will definitely touch your heart. It's definitely my testimony. You can get it at Amazon.com, RelationshipMattersMinistries.com, BarnesandNobles.com, AuthorHouse.com, and you can get tangible copies in CLC Bookstore in Morristown, New Jersey.
Or we can mail you one.
Or we can mail you one, but you gotta pay for the postage. Sorry, it's like no, just so the book is only $10.99. It's a short book, but I'm getting so many positive feedback of how it's blessing people. So I just want to be a blessing to somebody. And if you happen to be watching, I am giving away a free signed copy during this forum. So let me know if you put yourself out there. You know, everybody may not have $10.99 at this point, and no judging. It's okay. I don't have $10.99 today either. I'm just keeping it real. So whatever. I really believe in sowing seeds and giving. So you can follow us on Facebook at Relationship Matters. We're on Twitter, Relationship Matters. We're on Instagram, Relationship Matters 17. Google Plus. Linked, Relationship Matters. We're on so many social media sites, so please stay connected. Whatever you need to know, if you need to reach me, you can always reach me on a social media site. Facebook, whatever it is.
Awesome. So we have a comment from Nicole. She says, I love everything y'all are sharing, great nuggets. Speaking from a Christian, single, and waiting perspective, it is also important during the single season really to press into the Lord and building a relationship with God, with Him. Mm-hmm. Taking time to learn truly who you are and enjoy life. Just because you are single doesn't mean that you have to be lonely and boring. You can still have a full and enjoyable life while single. And you wrote a book. And your book really helps with the inner healing from the past and broken relationships so that you can move forward to a positive relationship. So that was really good what you said, Nicole. Thank you for that.
Wait, before you go on, I just wanted to be able to piggyback off of the last thing. Because,
okay.
She talked from her perspective, I'm talking from the male perspective. As far as males, the issue of dating, don't get caught up in what your eye gate see all the time, because, like I said, what you see, it ain't really what it is. So, to my guys out there, date to my Christian guys, we have a mandate. We know what we're supposed to do and what we're looking for a wife. I mean, and I'm talking to the Christians and non-Christians because I don't know who's watching and I don't know who's going to be able to see this. So I don't want to just base it off of one perspective.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like I said, watch your eye gates. And everything ain't always what you see.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The enemy comes in many forms. So always continue to know who you are first. You know what I mean? Especially for men, because we have a hard time of realizing who we are, knowing what our identity is. Get your identity. You know what I mean? If you didn't have a father, get around a male figure to help pour into you.
Yes.
To help you understand who you are, what your responsibilities are as a man. As a Christian, we have God. We have God to lead us and guide us, and then God to put men in our lives to kind of shape us and mold us and press us forward. Because it's very important before you get with that woman, you got to at least know who you are. And what you're able to bring to the table, because we do have that mandate on God to provide. I mean, things happen, life happens. I know that, but just make sure that you have a strong, and firm understanding of who you are, and know what you're looking for. And like I said, always watch what you see out your eye gate. And that's about it.
That's awesome. Thank you for both you guys for your perspective and willing to be so open and share about your marriage and even how you were before, prior to getting married. So I think both of you guys, and definitely, everybody's situation is different. But so what they're saying is not gospel law. However, I think it's great point of views to lead you down there, and it challenges you. It challenges you to think. It challenges you in certain areas that you're lacking, even as a single man or woman, and even as a married couple. But to see so many people chiming in saying how short, you can't, how short they've known their spouse but been married so long. Like, we have a couple that's been married for 38 years. That's amazing. I don't even know. I'm 40 and couldn't live with myself for 40 years, let alone someone else. So one of the topics that I do, we address finances. So please, this will be up so you can always go back. And we addressed the blended family. Let's address infidelity. Let's address that within a marriage, because some marriage, and I'm not saying that's an issue in your marriage or has been one, but some marriages face infidelity, or face, not even infidelity, but face situations where it rocks the trust in a relationship. And so how do you actually get past that to stay together? Because the goal is to stay together. I don't think anybody enters into a relationship, let alone a marriage, and already think, okay, how are we going to break up? How this is going to end. You go in thinking forever. So when you get those challenges, and I think it was key going all the way back to the beginning of you guys dating, how he was already attached, and he went in for the landing, and you like, take care of that, bro, and then come back, and then you going into a space where you had to kind of like wait, scared, because one of the biggest thing with women, and I'm pretty sure men, but I'm a woman, we deal with the fact of rejection. So you wait for this dude to call, like, nah, I'm good, I'm gonna just be here. So, not to divert from the question, but deal with the infidelity and trust, and not necessarily staying there, because there's other issues that can happen within a relationship or marriage that can rock trust. So deal with that.
I don't think per se we never had infidelity issues in that aspect where someone left the marriage and cheated. We had several trust issues to where
You need a hose.
Probably. Sorry, I'm just getting sick. To where we had to work through. Beginning of our marriage, we did deal with. I came into the marriage very insecure, very, very sensitive, because I was cheated on several times by previous relationships. So I was cheated on I was hurt, but I wanted what was best for me. I wanted to strive to get there. So our marriage, when we came in, I was guarded, and I was quick to be like, who is she? Like, he had a best friend. And I said, immediately, oh, she got to go. Never really got to know her, simply because I was already hurt. And I instinctively said, I'm not going to get hurt. Now, I met you, dude, you had a girl, and now I got to be married and you still got another girl? No. She got to go. And, you know, he loved me. You got to go. You know, and he did that for me. Now, had I done it differently, I probably would have, because a lot of stuff that I did was out of fear and a fear of being hurt again. And I guarded myself. Quick, fast, in a hurry. I guarded myself. But now in our marriage, I'm stronger. I trust him.
So did he, because a lot of times, and we see on social media, we have a male and female being best friends. Mm-hmm. And I know some people believe that a man and a woman can't be friends without it breaking that boundary. But then you have people that believe that a man and a woman can be best friends and it never go there. But let me just get this one question out. And one, do you believe, which side are you on of that? Or even if nothing ever happens, do you in fact believe that somebody must have some type of feelings but never said anything? How did you handle that? How do you handle your spouse or your life partner or your partner dealing with the opposite sex and it not interfering with the relationship?
Here's the thing. Our marriage is two people. Regardless of if he agrees with what I say or do in a matter, if when it comes to anybody outside, we have to respect each other. If something is bothering him, and it can be as innocent and pure, if it's still bothering him, cut it off, because it messes with the marriage. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't. That's why I say you cannot be selfish in a marriage. It's not about you. It's always, I'm always thinking about Stefan, always. And if it comes to other people in a marriage, the only thing that I can say is everybody's marriage is different. We don't have opposite sex best friends. That just does not work for us. Simply because of our own past. He has a past. I have a past. We made boundaries. It is what it is. There was a point in our marriage where I kept telling him, or he kept allowing me to feel, because he didn't understand why I didn't want him to have his best friend. Or he would have certain women call him 10, 11 o'clock at night talking about their woe-is me's. Well, first of all, I don't care about your woe-is me's, because you're calling my man, you're taking him away from me at 10, 11 o'clock at night. That's why they got counselors. But I was in the midst, I had to protect what was mine. And he had to understand that no matter how innocent or helpful you thought you were being, if I'm uncomfortable, my feelings, regardless of who else is out there, comes first. Because you want a happy life, you better make sure you have a happy wife. Point blank, period. And there was a point, I'm pretty sure, that I made his life absolutely miserable. Because I felt like I was not number one. You know, I wasn't number one. He didn't have my best interests. He was always being pulled from other areas. And if we're specifically talking about best friends and women, I'm a woman. I know how women are. We cry. We look for the affection and the attention when we are vulnerable. You're not getting that from my husband. You're not getting it. And he had to get that, because it was something we definitely had to work out, because I was absolutely miserable. I was miserable. And it was plenty of times I told him I was leaving. I was rolling. We always do mom jokes. I'd be like, "Your mom, I'm out." Like, I was ready. And then it just hit him like a ton of bricks. Like, I can't lose my good thing over something that means nothing to me. It's not that deep.
Wow.
It's just sometimes we're so quick to question the relationship, or we're scared to lose something. But you have to remember, God honors the marriage. It has nothing to do with the friendship outside of the marriage as far as you're single. So I'm sorry, single people, if you feel like they changed, because they did. You have to change in order to make your marriage work. And you have to make certain sacrifices. Now, in my situation, I have never, ever had a male friend. When I met him, everything was cut off. Everything. Jewelry, everything that they had, because I didn't want him to feel like he had to compete. Point blank, period. I loved him. He didn't have to compete. He had my whole heart. He had everything. In his situation, it was a little more, he didn't understand. So we had to really, years, we had to work it out. I had to keep fussing. He kept saying he didn't understand. I had to keep fussing. We had to go to counseling because it was getting deep to where, but now first of all, he understands where I'm coming from. He loves me enough to realize that my baby comes first. And, and I can go on his phone. And I think I don't go on his phone, but if I do, when I feel like, oh, let me just be newsy and get on his nerves, I know I don't find anything inappropriate. But if I do find something that sparks something, I question him. What's this? And he's open and honest to tell me, well, babe, it's not like that, or I meant this and this. And then he'll cut it off if I'm uncomfortable. But I've learned to understand him as well. He's open, he's honest, he's humble, he's a friendly guy. Mm-hmm. So I've learned to adapt to his friendliness as well. I'm not like anymore, because I came into the marriage with a lot of insecurities. I was guarded a lot. But as the years go on, I had to learn to change too, because I can't, he's a minister. He can't be on the pulpit and me up there like, I wish she would. Like, that just be downright stupid, So I had to learn to adjust my behavior as well. I trust him. I really do trust him.
And was there a point where you did not trust him?
Absolutely. And there was a point where we had a very heated discussion, because I remember he jumped over the edge of the bed, was like, what have I done for you not to trust me? And I'm looking like, he didn't do anything. Everything was off the previous relationship. It had nothing to do with him. That's where I had to get help for myself and change it. Because my insecurities, my lack of trust, because of my hurt, and this is why the book.
Right.
I had to deal with myself. Because our marriage would not have worked if I didn't change myself and my own insecurities. And then he had to realize, because of my wife passed, I have to change some of the things, change my approach on how I do stuff. And that's love. That's what I'm talking about when I say love and understanding and sacrifices. Because you have to change and you have to adapt your behavior. And a lot of people don't want to have to change themselves. They really think you can enter into a marriage or keep a marriage remaining. I'm not saying not be yourself. I'm saying learn to compromise. You have to compromise, because if you want it to work, you have to change some of your behavior, some of your mindsets, different other things,
Yeah.
Was there a point in your marriage or your relationship that you did not trust Dina?
No.
As far as speaking of, infidelity or.
No, I can't say that I had.
Or if you had any insecurities going into the marriage.
Maybe probably once, and that was when one of the kids' fathers came back into the picture. So, yeah. But other than that, the reason why it took so long for me is I didn't really have the principle of marriage all together. So, it took some studying and really, getting, seeking God to really help me understand, what marriage was really about. You know what I mean? Because like my wife said, I'm a friendly guy, I'm approachable. You know what I mean? I love everybody. It's like, hey, what's up? You know, yo, stop, blah. So, you know, when it came down to the quote unquote best friend that I had, it was really, and that was hard for me to let go because we were tight. You know what I mean? I had never slept with her, never anything. But like I said, me not really understanding that, I had to kind of. The Bible says that a man shall leave his mom and then his dad and cleave to his wife. You know, that means you got to leave. Sometimes you got to leave friends and family too. Mm-hmm. I mean, I said family, but you got to leave friends alone too, because you know, as a part of the cleaving process, as a part of the God woven you two guys together. So you know, in the woven process, what happens is a lot of things have to fall off, because now your two spirits become one. So now God is woven you two guys together, and anything that God doesn't seem to benefit what God is trying to do, he cuts it off. Mm-hmm. And that was a lot of the part of where I wasn't understanding, you know, that I wasn't seeing that God was actually saying, like, this is not good for you right now, so you got to cut it off. So like I said, it was really about me studying and really trying to learn my wife's past and understanding where she's coming from, and then having to, like I said, make the change and make the adjustment. It hurt. It did hurt. But, you know what I mean, I had to realize that this is forever. That's mm-hmm. just temporary. You know what I mean? And even on the other side, if she really understood, if she really knows me, she'll understand. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it was just about me cleaving with my wife and understanding where she's coming from, and taking into consideration what was going on with her, and then me having to make the adjustments within me. Not to say that I couldn't be friendly anymore, not to say that I couldn't be me anymore. It was just about, all right, I gotta kind of, you know, make sure my wife is good. So yeah, that's what it was. It was just making that adjustment, you know, really understanding, like, okay, she don't like it, it's not good. Let me just try to make the adjustment within me. And like I said, it took years because I still didn't understand. But like I said, the more I studied marriage, the more God began to speak to me, the more people began to pour into me. Wiser couples. Shout out to Elder Byron Ferry and Mom Doreen Ferry.
Yes. I remember them.
Yeah, those are mentors.
They were our mentors. They were our mentors when we first started out. I mean, they took it. They've been married a long time.
I think they were one of the reasons why we don't argue a lot. We never saw they argue. And then one time she said, we was like a year or two in our marriage, and she said, when you are tempted to argue, get naked.
Yeah.
Wow.
Get naked. I remember that. Mm-hmm.
And we used to do that, because I used to be like, he couldn't get mad no more, because he was like, what was we arguing about?
Right.
You know, not saying that we wasn't dealing with issues,
but
it just made us laugh, and it detoured, you know, it just moved the anger to, like, it's not that deep. But that was one of the things that they taught us that helped us in the beginning of our marriage. And I believe that's, you know,
that helped.
It helped a lot, because you couldn't argue naked, because, you know, when you're naked, you know what you want. And ain't got nothing to do with no argument. Let's go.
Yeah. So, you know, shout out to them, you know, for being the mentors the early part of our marriage. You know,
they did a lot. They taught us how to date.
Yep. Yeah.
They taught us how to get away.
Yep.
Like
they was to Sheraton.
Yeah. Even if it was downtown, they would have us book a room, and you know, a lot of times they booked it for us because we were broke.
Yeah.
And you know,
that's awesome.
Yeah, they taught us how to get away and love each other.
Now, within your marriage, is there anything within your own personal self that's not negotiable? Are there anything that you say, you know what, I'm not going to change? Or is it always a constant? Because one of the similarities I hear in both you guys mm-hmm. is putting each other first. Mm-hmm. So is everything up for discussion as far as if it bothers the next person? Or is there anything that's non-negotiable? Like this is just who I am, and deal with it. Is there anything of that nature that's there?
I want to say, he always calls me, I don't think he ever, that's a good question. I mean, like, I don't think we really,
no, I don't think,
really accept each other.
Yeah. I mean, because like I said, being in a marriage is not about you, it's always about the other person.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Everything is up for the discussion, because you're always or you're always considerate of your mate or your spouse. you're always considerate of how they would feel about it. You know what I mean? So it's not like you can't put up a wall and be like, I'm not doing this because no, you're building up a wall. You know what I mean? And that's eventually. Like you're gonna keep hitting that wall until it breaks, and if it never breaks, the next thing you know, somebody if you can't break that wall, you're at the point where you like, all right, I'm out. Since you're not willing to do this, you know what I mean? Because usually this is how it's gonna go. After all I did, after all I've done, after all the sacrifices I've made, and after all the break-ins and all of that, and you can't do this for me.
Wow.
And I've been with you for 13 years, and you can't do that for me. You got it. And then and then now what happens is you open the door, and it may be just that one thing, but now you've opened the door for the enemy to come and say, oh, so he or she not gonna change? All right, I said I'll send somebody that's gonna do that.
Wow. And I think that's that 20% people, that 80-20 that people refer to, and then thinking the grass is green on the other side to get there and find out.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, with the grass being green on the other side, most of the time, let's just be real, most of the time the grass is the sex.
Wow.
Thank you.
That's it. That's what the grass is the sex. And then, so you willing up to give up that 80% for that 20%. You know what I'm saying? That sex. And then because after having that sex, and then you create a soul tie, and then you start to, you know, see that person for who they are. It's like, oh, snap. Like, did I really just get into this?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, like, I had this at home. I mean, she was willing to put up with me being stubborn or this or that. She was willing, or he was willing to put up with that with me. But this person not even willing to give me the time of day. But the sex is good. The release is all that. You know what I'm saying? It's all that. You know what I mean? The shot is all that. But you know what I mean? You sacrifice for a shot, but that person don't want nothing to do with you after the shot is over. They gone. They don't want nothing to do with you. They don't accept your calls or nothing.
How do, as a man, and I'm not picking on the men,
yes, she is.
How do you, as a man, get past that moment of 20 or that moment of it looking better to get to the other side of not doing anything? Because we have a lot, and women too, have a lot of times that he may look better or he may do this or she may do this better for that moment. But how do you get yourself to say, I have such and such. He or she is my heart.
Right.
How do you get past that moment to survive and say, whew, I ain't do it? How do you get past that?
It's usually what it is just really just thinking. Like, you know, I mean, thinking before you react. You know, the Bible cautions us always to think before we react. You know what I mean? Take a moment to really kind of step back and assess the situation and then react. Because most of the time we get in trouble, we just react. We don't think. We just go.
Reaction.
You know, like I said, and it's plenty. I see a lot of women every day that are nice looking women, and you know, like I said, the eye. That's why I said watch your eye gate, because what happens is if you allow it to affect your eye gate, it gets here, and then it comes out, and that's how it works. So watching your eye gate, like I know one of the things I had to adapt with, that's the wrong word. One of the things I had to do was when I saw something and it looked good to me, I had to cast a thought down.
Yeah.
I had to, because instantly. The Bible says when you look upon a woman and you lust on it, you already cheated. You cheated and you sinned it. So the first thing you do when it hits your eye gate, you got to stop it before it gets here. Because one of the things I have to do is constantly, because it's summertime, so you see a lot. Women got the chest out, they got all this out, and you see a whole lot. So one of the things I have to constantly do is say, look, I cast that thought down right now in Jesus' name, because when I cast it down, I replace it. Because Song of Solomon, I mean, I'm not going to get, because the Song of Solomon is very graphic, but I'm not going to get into that. But what I do is, when I cast the thought down, I instantly replace the thought. My wife is who I need. My wife satisfies my needs. She does everything that I need for her to do. That's just temporary. You know, I mean, that's just a nice piece of eye candy going by. But like I said, the first look, you go, all right, but when you look back that second time, you caught. And the men know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm quite sure women go through that too.
Yeah,
I mean, that second look gets you messed up.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you got that first look in and you looked and then you kept it going, you good. But once you go, that's what messed you up right there. But that's always good too. When you see something, you cast the thought down immediately, and then you replace the thought with some kind of word or some kind of inspiration, or replace that thought with a thought of your wife or your spouse being, you know what I mean, naked or something like that. And it's like, okay, that's what I'm going home to. Matter of fact, yo, what you doing? Yeah, get ready. Tonight.
So when Nicole says yes, cast down and replace it.
Mhm.
That's a good nugget. I think cast down and replace it.
Mhm.
Because so many times I think with anything in life, we cast it down, but we never replace it.
Exactly.
So we leave the void
There's a
and leave
void.
that door still open.
Mhm.
So I think that is awesome that you cast down and replace it,
Mhm.
which is really good. But I know he said that the eye
Mhm.
gate. Speak upon that, Dina, with the ear gate with women. We don't necessarily
Excuse me.
we don't necessarily get into looking at a man.
Mhm.
How do you address cutting him off verbally?
Mhm.
Because sometimes we'll get a friend that say kind of the nice
Mhm.
things that he don't say.
Mhm.
And so speak to the women about it.
Mhm. Wow. First of all, I try very hard not to put myself in that situation. If I vent, I try to vent to a woman. First of all, I try to vent. If it's a pastor or a male minister or something that I have to vent to, then what I will try to do all the time is I try to do it in twos. And then there are times where there's no twos, just me and another man. But what I try to do is I basically, I'm trying to, it's like I don't go there. I just don't
just
go
never go
there.
there.
I'm trying to think, but I literally don't
I think it's
go there. I immediately go boom, boom.
you cut it off.
Yeah, I put the wall up and I'm like, oh. And then if he happens to say something that triggers the ear, that pricks the heart, then I immediately cast down the thought and then replace it.
And replace it.
And then as far as the emotion, I think of something that my husband does that he may be saying, but that's irreplaceable. Something that Steph may do that's irreplaceable.
Right.
You know, so that's what I do. But ultimately, I really try, and it's been very successful so far for 13 years. I don't put myself in that situation at all. I don't put myself in that situation at all. I always vent to a woman, and then go from there. And even, you know, as far as when he's concerned, you know, I do see men eye candy.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have single friends, and sometimes they may send me a picture of a muscular man or something, and then you know for a fact I quickly be like, I'm married, I can't go that far.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I say that all the time.
Right.
But I have friends enough now to respect the fact that I am married, and they won't send it. But if we have to have a conversation, because you know y'all single, I get it. Y'all be, you know, talking y'all singleness. But if the conversation gets a little too much, I'll say, you know, I always say I'm a married woman, or y'all know I can't do that, you know.
Right.
And then
And I've heard you say that.
Yeah.
I've heard you say
my
that.
friends will instinctively change it because I can't. You know, y'all can maybe lust on something, and yes, you know, Andrew Alba does look good, but I have to change my thought because
Right.
I look up.
I
and
think-
be a single
I think-
woman.
Even I think, and speaking from a single woman perspective, even we still have to cast down and replace it
Mhm.
because we have to be in a certain place within the relationship to get to the altar.
Mhm.
So if you're still single, because you're technically single in the eyes of the law because you're unmarried,
Mhm.
but if you're attached to someone with the hopes of being there forever, you still have to cast it down and replace it.
Mhm.
You still have to think of the fact that there's only one boo.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, she's the one, so I'm going to figure it out. Because all these people been to the altar fairly quickly.
Mhm.
But sometimes it takes time for some people.
Yeah.
Just simply because of life or whatever, you know, insecurities, whatever, fear. So I think that both of you guys, you can step back in when you're ready. I know you didn't want to step in because we were talking. But I think both of you guys hit an awesome nugget today. Like, cast down and replace it. Basically, what the Bible tells us to do is just change your thinking. And then you guys took it a step further and said not only change your thinking, but replace it with the person that you love. You know, and I like when Stefan said that was so key when you talked about the greener is normally sex.
It is.
So she not, and my sister used to have a saying back in a little while ago, I don't know if you still say it, but when women think they want to challenge you for him, you say, I like to poop off his toe.
I say it all the time.
Meaning that you're there for him when the ugly, when he's battling in his dark areas, and so are you when there's dark areas and different things like that. So I think that's so key and awesome, you know, the way that you handle, you know, the trust factors and diverting people that or even detaching yourself from someone that makes your spouse uncomfortable. But how do you handle family? How do you handle being together, having these out family, but you can't really replace these people, but they don't like you, or you don't like them, or vice versa, same with you. How do you handle that and keep a successful marriage and stay married? Because I've known some people break up simply because of family. So you survived, you didn't have infidelity, but you survived trust issues, and now you trust each other. You survived the bad behind kids. You know, you survived the finances. How do you survive family?
Aren't you the expert?
I'm sister, and let's be clear. When they first met, I didn't like him, but now we have an amazing relationship. That's my brother. So, how did you survive? And do not tell the story when you slammed the door in my face. Leave that. No, because it was coming. It was coming. But no, I'm kidding. But how do you survive family?
I think, like I said, well, when we first got married, my family relationship was rocky anyway, so it didn't take too much to detach from me. It didn't take that much. But like I said, you just got to realize that, like I said, I guess going back to the Bible, didn't shall a man leave his wife? I mean, I said the wrong thing. Didn't shall a man leave his mother and his father and cleave to his wife? So, it's just a part of that cleaving process, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, when God is interwoven, you know, everything that is a distraction, it kind of gets cut off. If it's your family, they get cut off, you know, because it's about you two becoming one. You know, if you're a mama's boy, you got to realize now that and it may take a major adjustment. It may take an adjustment, but you got to realize that your wife now is the first woman in your life. You know, mom is secondary. And, you know, mom may not understand. If mom is married, she'll understand it. But if mom's not married, they may not understand it. And, you know, I didn't have that problem with mom, and I'm referring to her mom. I think my mom had a problem with it because my mom did, because when like I said, we were I was 24, I was young, I didn't have a job, so we had to go to my mom's, because I had the thing is I had to make some things right before I got married. That was one of my things I said I had to I didn't want to take it into my marriage, because I had a strong issue with my own mother. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to, I think that was really God really just putting in my heart, like, at least get this part right before you take, because you don't need to take this into the marriage. So, you know, me and Dean, we went to my mom's house, and like it was a war zone in there, because it was bad. It was really bad. To the point where, you know, me and my mom, we good now. We got a great relationship now. But it's to the point where my mom was like, well, what you want to marry him for? He ain't got no job. I was like, oh, wow. Well, just shoot me all the way down to the ground, Mom. But they wanted to know, and then the issue with the kid, because
Did you call me old?
Yeah.
She said I was old. Like, I'm 28. I'm old.
Yeah.
You was old. Just kidding, but go ahead.
So so it was a lot of issues. Well, I mean, we got past that war zone, and I just realized like what I did. I just cut all my family off. I mean, because I knew it was just about her. We had to deal. So it was like I said, my family relationship was rocky anyway. So it didn't really. I'm a person that I can cut you off and just be all right.
Yeah, he didn't do that. I had to grow to do that.
Yeah,
because he could be like, oh. How do you do that? I mean, I couldn't.
It's easy.
Not for me, I couldn't.
So, so like I said, it was just about me realizing that we got to build this thing now.
Right.
So, anything else that's a distraction, all right, I can't do it right now. Let me just focus on her and what God has for me and for her, and just focusing on that. So that's how it was from my perspective now. You can tell from your perspective.
I mean, as far as, I don't care if they don't like him. I really don't. Because you have that preference. You don't have to like him. But you will respect him.
Oh, yeah.
Point blank, period.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to, especially in front of me, you're not going to demean him. You're not going to talk about him. You're not going to raise your voice. Because I'm quick to defend and I'm like, oh, I'm not the man. But I'm quick to be like, really? So I as far as people not liking each other, I don't care. That's your preference. You don't like me, I don't care. However, you have to respect him. So if something is required to where you have to have a relationship, like as far as work or ministry, you're going to respect him. Especially in front of me. You're going to respect him. I think everybody requires respect. And I think that's the problem in the marriages. It's not so much a person doesn't like the other person, or my mother-in-law, she didn't like me, but she knew from the door she had to respect me, because the first time that she came out her side of her mouth with some stuff, my feelings was hurt. And me and him had a discussion, like, I can't marry you like this, because she has to respect me. And, he married me anyway, and it was a process for me and my mother-in-law to get along. And I love her now. I love her to death. And there, we could actually pick up the phone and call each other. And I call her mom because, she takes good care of us. And she looks after the grandkids and everything. But it took us a process to get there because she didn't even give me a chance. She didn't know my heart. She just did not like me. And then she disrespected me. She called me old. And then I think that's why she did the job part, because I was like, he has nothing to offer me. Not materialistic, because I was the one with the job. I had the house, the car, I had everything. So what are you mad for? Like, I had to really check her. Like, I don't understand. But, after me and him, we had a long conversation, and I think that was the very first time, maybe in one of the last times that I ever cussed him out literally. And it wasn't so much because she didn't like me, it was because of the disrespect. Right. So, I think that's the major thing. I don't expect everybody to like us or him, and that's fine, but you will respect him. Right. Point blank, period.
So I think that just all leads back to, because when I'm picking up here from you guys' marriage, the foundation of it is really thinking and putting each other first.
Right. In
every area of your life. Mm-hmm. Because you now know that it's no longer you, it's us. Mm-hmm. Which I think is seems so simple, mm-hmm. but so many people seem to forget that, mm-hmm. Because we definitely live in a society now where it's selfish, me, and relationships, period, going back to your book, relationships matter, all relationships require unselfishness at some point. Mm-hmm. And to even be in a marriage and to be successful, you got to think of each other. Mm-hmm. And with that being said, we only got about 6 minutes left. Oh, wow. I know, you guys really burned it up, but that was awesome. I definitely want to touch this point, and then we can move forward. And you both are successful individuals in your personal endeavors. Mm-hmm. Because even though you guys are together, you still pursue your personal dreams. Mm-hmm. Both of you guys, as far as the ministry aspect, and even in life, you guys are both powerful individuals. You both have calls and anointings and jobs to do. Both you guys are entrepreneurs in the younger stages of it, but you are entrepreneurs, which takes a very strong individual. Some of your stuff that you guys do sometimes does intertwine.
Mm-hmm.
You're both gifted. You're both intelligent and knowledgeable. You both are educated because you both have gone to school and have degrees and certificates or whatever in your own personal. How do you take two powerful individuals in your own personal lives, entrepreneurship, and make the marriage work? Never once negating one another's gifts, nor once ever downplaying each other. And when you happen to come together underneath one roof, one actually has to take the lead, because you can't be two heads. Then if it's two heads, then it's a freak show. So somebody got to take a knee in that area, and well, the word is submit, but a lot of people don't like that word. So I'll use cooperate. So how do you cooperate to yet go towards a common goal, but one is stronger in the area? How do you make that work?
I think the first word I'm going to use is you got to have a common respect for what each other does. The area, like where she's strong at, I may be weak, so she'll cover me in that area, and vice versa. Where she's strong at, where she's weak at, I'm strong at. So we cover each other, and we never really knock heads. But like I said, it's very important to know that when God puts you two together, like I said, the gifts and callings, they coincide with each other, because her gifts are for me and my gifts are for her. So that's why it's never really a fight or a battle when we're even in our personal lives, because our gifts submit to each other. So, when she was pursuing, writing the book and everything, I played the background. I mean, I had a helping hand in writing the book, but I played the background because that was her gift, and whatever she needed from me, I gave it to her. Like if she said, Steph, I was reading countless manuscripts of the book. Steph, read this. Steph, read that. You read this. How this sound? How that sound? And I was very open and honest. No, take that out. That don't sound right. Oh, you missed the word here. You missed the word there. But she didn't take that. She wasn't offended by that, because she was asking me for my honest opinion. So you got to be able to respect each other's honest opinions. You just got to be open to what the other person is doing. Like even with me, like musically, because I'm starting out, DJing. She'll tell me like, oh, that don't sound right together, or no, Steph, do this, or don't do that. And I had to be able to take that. So you got to be able to take the criticism, you know what I mean? Because it's coming from a place of pureness. It's not coming because I'm hating on you. Why would you hate on something? You won. So if you hating on her, you hating on yourself. She hating on me, she hating on herself, because we won. In the eyesight of God, we're one. So how could two walk together unless they agree? And that counts in marriage too. So it's really just having a corporate respect for each other, and actually just pushing each other and encouraging each other, because there's times when she wanted to give up on the book. No. Once again, no. And I got so, because I done been helping you with this. I done been taking these manuscripts to work and reading them on buses and trains. Yo, you gonna finish this.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I said before, the thing is, and this is the very, very great thing, I was always big on relationships. Always big. But see, what God did was he took my passion, put it in her, and she wrote it out.
Wow.
Because Relationship Matters is a little over a year old. I was just reading a Facebook post. You know how you got your memories on Facebook? And this was way before Relationship Matters even started. And I had read something. I was inserting a book or something like that. But one of the hashtags was Relationship Matters. And this was way before she started writing the book. That's awesome. What happens is, when God puts a couple together, the dreams and aspirations become one. You know what I mean? So, like I said, he was dealing with me with relationships, but it took her to actually write it out and put it in book form. And I'm quite sure that, when my time comes, my wife is going to, she already is contributing, but she's going to play an even major more role when I actually launch out there. Because, like I said, just having that corporate respect and knowing each other and praying with each other. Like I said, your two minds become one. You start to, like I was talking about before, that whole woven process, you become on one wavelength. You know what I mean? I just thought about this. I thought about a scripture that left me just that fast.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? A three-ply cord is not easily broken.
Mm-hmm.
So and what that is me and her are two cords, but God is that third cord that entangles us and wraps us together. So God takes my dreams, her dreams, and Him being the author of it, He makes sure it all comes together. It all comes together through each of us. So that's my thing.
Dana, and you got 60 seconds.
60 seconds. No, it's just, it is like what he said. We submit to each other. Our gifts and talents. And there was a time when he actually came to me and let me know in ministry that, if there's elevation in certain areas, that he would submit to the authority of the
Calling?
the call.
Yeah.
Not submitting to the wife, because that's backwards, but he will submit to the call.
Right.
And he respects the mantle.
Yeah.
That's what he said, he respects the mantle. So that gave me like, wow. Because, as women, we try to fight or wrestle or try to balance that I'm called to this area, I'm a leader in this area, but I'm married and I have to submit to my husband. But for him to come out and already out the bat and say, I respect the call, your mantle, and I submit to the anointing in your life, that was just like, okay, cool. It just made my life and the transition into what I was called to do a whole lot easier.
Wow.
And like I said, because what she has on her life is for me, and what I have in my life is for her, so it makes it easy. So it was very important that I did that too, you know what I mean, to give her the confidence that she needed, because like I said, a lot of women in ministry, you know what I mean, they're powerful. Like, you know what I mean, we gotta kind of respect the women that are in ministry that have calls on their lives, you know what I mean, and even to the husbands, even though you are the head of the house, but you still have to come under subjection and authority to the God that's in her and your spouse. So that's very important. So, you have to submit to each other. And that's all, folks.
That's so awesome. So as we begin to wrap up, so some key points today about marriage. And you said cast it down and replace it. That's how you stay away from infidelity.
Yeah.
So the first look is grace. The second look,
You in trouble.
you're in trouble. So you see the look, you cast down, replace it. You yourself as a woman, you put the wall up.
I just don't.
Automatically get rid of it. Also, too, I heard today, communication is key.
Yes.
Understanding one another is key. Communication is key. Because I heard a lot with you guys saying that we sat down and we talked about it. And far as if it's a fight that's about to happen, get naked. That's a key point, because it's hard to argue in the nude. So, and even though that sex is a very big a part of the relationship, so that's key. And getting mentors, people to look up to that has successful marriages.
Yes. Successful.
Not because, and tenure doesn't necessarily mean successful.
Thank you.
If you constantly seeing them arguing, bickering, and they may not be the one.
You're right.
But what I will say is this: I've never heard, and I'm the sister, I've never heard you downmouth him, even when you called to vent, because he done ticked you off for whatever reason. You never degrade him, and I've never heard Stefan degrade you. So there's a covering there. There's a protection there, that even though that people may know you guys very well, they don't know you guys and how you actually operate in your intimacy of the relationship and how it makes it work. So 13 years this year. Awesome. Hopefully y'all give another party like y'all did 2 years ago. That was amazing. The Coles got a party. It was absolutely amazing. It's just another aspect of the book, Relationship Matters here. We talked about marriage today, but the book is solely about all relationships, not solely about marriage, but all relationships. So if you can and have not, please replace the book. She's looking for the first inbox today to give away a Relationship Matters book, and we'll get it to you. Go ahead and give me your handle, and then we'll wrap up.
All right, so my book is Relationship Matters. You can follow us on, well, you can actually purchase the book, not follow us just yet. Amazon.com, AuthorHouse.com, BarnesandNobles.com, RelationshipMattersMinistries.com. That is the website, and you can also purchase the book there. The book is also a tangible copy. Is in CLC Bookstore in Morristown, New Jersey. More bookstores to come. And you can also follow us on Facebook at Relationship Matters, Twitter, Relationship Matters, Instagram, Relationship Matters 17. We're on Google Plus, Relationship Matters. Everything's Relationship Matters. You can find me on pretty much all social media sites. Please purchase your copy of the book, Relationship Matters. It's only $10.99. It is the best $10.99 you could ever spend. And look for my upcoming book that will be due, probably come out December of this year, 2018. So look forward to up and new projects that I do have and upcoming events. I have a lot of stuff that we're working behind the scenes, so I'm so excited. And just stay in the know. Just follow us on our social media sites.
Also, anything you want to add to close?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, to that previous point, you know what I mean, about the communication. Like I said, it wasn't communication, it was something else. But the thing I wanted to say was, if you talk about your spouse, you talk about yourself. Mm-hmm. That's one thing I'm gonna pound that point in there. Like I said, because y'all one. So if you're talking about your spouse to somebody else, you're talking about yourself. And vice versa, your spouse talking about you, they talking about themselves. So why would you want to talk about yourself?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So stay in the know. Definitely follow all her handles that she did explain. Relationship Matters is a ministry, and she's here to help and and give you guidance if need be. If you have any questions, again, it's a no hold barred ministry. Nothing's off the table to discuss. If anything, if she can't give you advice about it, she'll definitely keep you in prayer over it. Well, she's gonna pray for you regardless. Considering it. Also look for the next forum next month. We confirm a date. You'll see it on Facebook. The next forum is concerning church relationships.
Yeah, relationships within the church. Yeah,
which is a big one, a scary one. But we're going to tackle that too.
Yeah.
And we'll actually probably have special guests on that particular forum. Of course, we are over our time by 6 minutes, but we black. We're going to be all right. But thank you all for joining. Anything you want to add, Coles?
No. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate my followers and people that actually take the time to reach out to me. So I appreciate you guys. I really appreciate the love. Stay encouraged, stay blessed, and stay in the know.
And remember, relationships matter.
Yes, they do.